I know you probably been wondering, where's my son? Why come he ain't called me? I can just hear you now. I can just hear it right here. But as you can see, I had to work today. I had to deliver Mother's Day flowers, candy, and cookies, and all that stuff all day long. And this morning when I got up, I was thinking, I said, you know something? I just was thinking about my mother. And I went into my safe. And you know, this is what I went in there looking for. It's like my most prized possession that I own. And it's something that you gave me. And it says, love you forever. And I thought to myself, I sat down here and I read it to myself. And just having you on my mind, just thinking about my mom. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to give this to Mama as a gift. I'm going to read this book to you. And I'll show you the impact it has on me. It's really meaningful to me. Okay? So sit back for a little bit. Go get you some popcorn and something to drink. Okay? Give me a second. All right. It says, from your mother to your son, Moses E. Gathings III, December of 1994. I love you forever. It says, a mother held her newborn very slowly, rocking him back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever. I like you always, as long as you live it. My baby, you'll be. The baby grew and grew. He grew until he was 2. And he ran around the house and he pulled out all the books off the shelf. He pulled the food out the refrigerator and he took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, this kid is driving me crazy. But at nighttime, when the 2-year-old was quiet, she'd open the door to the room, crawl across the floor, look up over the side of the bed, and if he was really asleep, she'd pick him up, rock him back and forth. And while she would rock him, she would say, I love you forever. I like you always. As long as you live it, my baby, you'll be. The little boy grew and grew and grew. He grew until he was 9 years old. And he never wanted to come in for dinner. He never wanted to take a bath. And when Grandma came to visit, he said bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to sell him to the zoo. But at night, when she was asleep, the mother quietly opened the door and crawled across the floor. And she would pick the 9-year-old up and rock him back and forth. And as she rocked, she would sing, I love you forever. I like you always. As long as you're living, my baby, you'll be. The boy grew and grew, and he grew into a teenager. He had strange friends, he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. Sometimes she felt like she was at the zoo. But at nighttime, when the teenager was asleep, the mother would go in and pick up the great big boy, rocking back and forth. And while she rocked him, she'll sing, I love you forever. I like you always. As long as you're living, my baby, you'll be. The teenager grew and grew into a grown man. He left home and got a house across town. But sometimes, on dark nights, the mother got into her car and drove across town. If all the lights in her house was out, she would open up the bedroom window and she would crawl across the floor and pick up the grown man and rock him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as she rocked him, she'd sing, I love you forever, I like you always. As long as you live in, my baby, you'll be. And while the mother was getting older, she got old and old and old. One day she called up the son and said, you better come see me because I'm very old and sick. So her mother came to see her. And when he came into the door, she tried to sing that song. I love you forever, I like you always. But she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. The son went to the mother and he picked her up and he rocked her back and forth, back and forth. And he sang that song. I love you forever. I like you always. As long as you live it, my baby, you'll be. And when the son got home that night, he stood for a long time at the top of the stairs. Then he went upstairs to his newborn boy's room who was sleeping. He picked him up and he rocked him back and forth. And he sang that song. I love you forever. I like you always. As long as you live it, my baby, you'll be. Now, Mama, I wanted you to hear that because there is no doubt in my mind, before I received this book, what my mother meant to me. And this is a prime example for anybody that this is what a mother goes through. And the way what it expresses to me is why I feel the way I do about my mother. I love you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day. And I'll call you later on Tango. Bye.